So as many of you may have noticed, I don't seem to review anything else except really dungeons for the most part, do I? Well, I have two very reasonable excuses for that. Number one, it's because I'm trying to level up professions, aka decimate the fish population, get a bunch of crops, and maybe annihilate every single fossil fuel off the face of the planet. And two, I'm also way too lazy to level up another class in order to have access to quests that I don't have access to right now that I could normally go to. If that made any sense whatsoever. I don't think it really did, but we'll just go with the profession excuse because that's a much better excuse, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay, anyway, time to go into the dungeon. Yay! Oh wow, I met with generic villain number 2879. I'm not sure if I actually went up last time I made that same exact joke, but you know what, it's okay. You know, the best part about this dungeon now is the fact that you get level 21 ingredients from a level 9 dungeon. It's just so nice inside. Oh yeah, something I forgot to mention is if you're doing this as a mage or archer at level 9, you're going to have a lot of fun. If you're mage, you're gonna spend a good like 5 hours trying to get through a single room because mage's DPS is awful until you get meteor, and archer has no AoE whatsoever until level 21, meaning if you don't fight mobs at the same, well, not the same time actually, one by one, you are going to get destroyed. Oh good, the forces of humans couldn't save you. I'm so invested in this. Wow, I really love the generic villain. You know what, that parkour is alright though. It's not too complex, very simple, but it exists. You know, I think I'm acting like this isn't the first dungeon in the entire game, and I'm not level 100. So you know what, I'll give you this, right? It's a decent beginner dungeon, question mark. Oh yeah, something I'd also like to point out, no clue if they actually fix this, and I can't really give an example because I don't know if they fixed it or not, but the silverfish in this dungeon are level 3, correct? Correct. For some reason, they used to anyway, and they maybe still do, drop level 30 gear. I'm not exactly sure why, but I've gotten the bandit ring a few times, a level 28 to 32 rare spear, and a level 28 to 32 unique dagger once. So, that's, interesting. I gotta admit though, I really like this very subtle, like, hinting towards the mechanic you'll need for the boss of blocking off the boss's shots. Ha, get it? Because my name is Shot. Okay, I'm gonna stop and leave. Goodbye. And now that you've managed to get 26 tokens, which feels like a lot, but then you get up to this zone and you realize there's like 50 mobs up here, so it's fine. And now you go on to the boss, aka Witherhead. And apparently Witherhead is a girl. And I could have sworn Witherhead is a boy. Now don't quote me on that, but I've been told it's a girl. So, and apparently the wiki, which I never rely the wiki, but somebody told me and the wiki said that this thing is a girl, so we're just gonna go under the assumption that it's a girl. To be fair though, I don't know why it being a girl or boy really actually matters in any circumstance whatsoever. I mean, it's legit just a skeleton that you have to fight, and then you'll probably forget about it moments later. So the boss itself just has these minions that are pretty slow. To be fair though, I'm level 100, so I guarantee you I wouldn't be able to outwalk them without speed 3. But regardless of that, it also has Arrow Storm, which is by far the deadliest part of the boss because it can hit you from really far away, and for some reason it doesn't seem to be using it all that much, so I might have to go back on what I just said. Correct me if I'm wrong as well, but I believe the boss has Push and Pull spell, maybe one or the other, not both. I'm not entirely sure. It's not really using any spells, and for some reason it doesn't even seem to be using Aerostorm, even though I see the particles. But here's the little subtle hinting I was talking about. As you can see, you can summon walls. I find it to be a decent mechanic. Alright, anyway, I think I've had enough ranting in the boss now. I think I can kill it. Goodbye. As for the dungeon stuff itself, I like the fact that they made Talisman a lot cheaper because it's much easier to access for newer players. I would feel better if it was like 4 or 5, but I can understand why they would move it so far down, like to take its old price and make it half the original. And actually, just because of the fact that I don't really expect a lot of new players to get that much stuff early on, all of these are actually pretty darn good, especially Serpent's Kiss. If you want to do damage as a mage early on, get Serpent's Kiss. They did nerf it, but I'm fairly certain it's still safe to say that poison is really good for its level. Some of you may have noticed I wasn't as mad in this video compared to the other dungeons like Undergrowth Ruins and Lost Sanctuary, but that's mainly because even though the dungeon itself is a little bit lackluster outside of like decent mechanic of the spawning walls and the boss being alright, it's really short. So that's like its main excuse, because I mean I wouldn't expect the first dungeon to be all that long, and it isn't. It's level 9 rated easy. On average, I'd say you'd be able to complete it in like 3 to 5 minutes. So easily the shortest dungeon. That's why I'm not as mad as I normally would be with Undergrowth Ruins and Lost Sanctuary. But you know what? It's fine despite that. And I also just accidentally tabbed out. Huh, interesting. Also, if any of you care, there's apparently a party going on in Deathless. So, I mean, I kind of care. But not really, but I kind of do. You know what? I'm gonna just leave it there. If you want to go party in Deathless with all the other cool kids, you do you and I'll do me. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go level up more professions because, may I just say, that leveling up professions compared to Gathering is lightning fast.